Hi there. So in this video we will see TestNG Dependency. So what we're going to do is we're going to create two methods, one which is going to be dependent on another, and we're going to see how TestNG handles such dependency. So first thing, open Eclipse, then click on File, New, Java Project. Here I'm going to name it Sample NG as my project name. Click on Next. Here go to Libraries tab, click on Add Library, choose TestNG, click on Next, then click on Finish. Now you can finish the project settings, and here you see your TestNG added to project path. Now right click on your project, click New, Add Class. Here type in demo for the name of your class. Okay, now you see you have a class with name demo in which we are going to have two methods. One is public void test1, okay, and another being public void test2, okay. And inside test1 let's have one message, system out println as hello test1, okay. And in test2 we will have message hello test2, okay. Now I want to make my test2 to be dependent on test1. For that, let me add @test annotation, and here I'm going to pass depends on methods attribute, or you can say parameter, that will point to test1 as dependency. Okay, now here we will have normal test annotation. Okay, now let's add proper classes, which is org TestNG annotations, and that should work. Okay, let's also check. Okay, so here I have used depends on methods as parameter, passing test1 as dependency, and we are going to see how each of these tests perform. So in order, test annotation should run test1, and as test2 being dependent on execution of test1, it will run second. So let's run it as TestNG test. Okay, and as you can see, both these tests are passed, and you get hello test1 and test2, and also shows test1 and test2 are passed. 0 skips, 0 failures. Okay, now what if your test1 fails? What will happen to your test2? So we're going to check that simply by creating one runtime exception. So let's see, throws, let's see new, and runtime exception. Okay, and here we are going to add that class. Check runtime exception if it occurs. Instead of throws, it should be throw new runtime exception. So we have exception here, Java lang, runtime exception, Java lang. Okay, so that should be added as well. Okay, so now if our test1 shows this runtime exception, then test2 being depending on this test1's output or execution, it will also flag error. So after test1 it should not move to test2. Okay, so we'll check that. So right click on your class, run as TestNG, and let's see. As you can see, test 1 is failed here due to runtime exception, and test 2's execution is halted here. Okay, so as you can see, your test 1's error runtime exception is thrown and skipped test 2. Okay, so when your method depends on another and the dependent method fails, then depending method will be skipped in your TestNG test. Okay, so you need to check whether your dependent method throws any runtime exception or errors, and you have to check that while executing the depending method. Okay, as you can see from the result here, you have your test 2 halted. Okay, and also in your console log it shows test run 2, failure 1, and skip 1. So this was a short demo on TestNG dependency in your test methods.